Welcome to this special edition of The Debate. We are coming to you live from the shadow of Old Trafford. You should be able to see the sign, but somebody's put some Christmas decorations up. But trust me, we are genuinely there. As you can see, we have two special guests in the shape of Phil Neville and Ryan Giggs. But don't forget, we also want your questions too. As usual, you can tweet us at Sky Sports PL, #The Debate. Ryan, no messing around. I'm going to go straight to it. If Manchester United get beat on Sunday, is it all over?
Yes.
OK, that's the end of the show.
No, I mean, it'll be very difficult. 11 points, and they've got to go to the Etihad as well. So, no, the way City are playing, that'll be very, very difficult to claw that back.
This early in the season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, you know, we got chased down by Arsenal. I think it was like 12 or 13 points. You have to have a lot of injuries, a lot of bad luck. To be caught with 11 points clear, even at this early stage. Do you agree, Phil?
Yeah, I think looking at the way that the league's going, there's two games that United can have effect on, the Old Trafford game and the Etihad game, and I think United and Jose will be looking at, they've got to win both games and get 6 points, and that won't even get them back above Man City. I think they've set the bar really high, Man City, this season with the football that they've played. But I've thought maybe for the last 10 days, particularly with the week that City had last week with the close games against Huddersfield, Southampton and West Ham, that if there was one team that could probably upset them, it's Manchester United if they're playing at the top of the game.
Now, you said because of those late defeats, let's be honest, Manchester City are the new Manchester United.
Yeah, but...
Did that hurt to say that?
No, well, do you know what it was? It was last week against Southampton, the way that they celebrated, you know, and they scored the goal really late on. They all charged down, the spirit and the character and scoring late on. It's what probably we used to do when we played at Manchester United, that belief of never giving up and knowing that you're going to get back in the game, but actually knowing that everybody else knows you're going to score late on as well. They've got that quality, but it was a difficult week from last week, and even though they won all 3 games, I think they just showed that the teams playing against them showed a way that maybe could upset, that maybe Jose might copy tomorrow.
Do those type of victories, though, and you both will be involved in plenty of them, do they give you real energy and momentum, or do they actually sap your energy?
No, it gives you momentum because, you know, everyone's been saying how well City have been playing this year, but then they don't play so well, but still win. And I think, you know, people say, can City win ugly? Well, they haven't played like they have earlier in the season in the last 3 games, but they've still come out with 9 points. So when you look at that as an opponent, it has a big effect on you. And like Phil says, you know, when you see the spirit and the celebrations of them late goals, it's huge.
When you look at the table right now, realistically, are United the only challengers in town?
Yeah, for me they are. I think Chelsea probably are a little bit too far away from it. But I think United. I look at the United team, and the way that the teams played last week when they played deep and they looked to counter-attack, I think United have got the ability to play deep, but they've got the speed on the counter-attack. And look, the points difference is great at this moment in time. But I think United are the only team that's got the quality of player, the depth in the squad, that if City do suffer a little bit of a dip, I think United are the old team that can beat them at this moment in time.
Not in terms of tactics, but what does it add to this game on Sunday? The fact that yourselves are saying, if Manchester City come here and win, it's all over.
Well, I don't think Man City will win. I think we'll either beat them or we'll get a draw, because it's similar to last year. You know, Chelsea coming to Old Trafford, and everyone thought that they were going to turn up Old Trafford and win. You know, this stadium has seen so many big games, and when the crowd are up for it, it's a very difficult place to win, no matter how good you are.
Really?
No matter how good you are. And
these are top, Ryan, these are top players at the top of the game, international stars.
Yeah, like Arsenal were when, you know, 49 wins and we did it that day. It's that type of performance and that type of atmosphere that we need on Sunday, because otherwise, like you say, City are a top team, and if you allow them to get into that rhythm, if you don't upset their passing, then it'll be a long day. But no, I can't see City winning because of them reasons, because it's at Old Trafford and because, like Phil said, United have got the players to upset. What was your attitude towards Arsenal that day? Not just in terms of your actual tactics, but was it a mentality of, listen, no way is this happening
on our patch, they will not win here. End of.
It felt like win at all costs. You know, there's a certain style you've got to play at Manchester United, but that day, I think we were aggressive. We had a game plan that we'd worked on for 2 or 3 days before. We knew that Arsenal were a powerful side, but also a technical side, and we had to disrupt their rhythm. And we were really aggressive that day. I know we had a few bookings, and Arsenal weren't pleased with it, but we knew that day. We knew that day that Arsenal weren't going to win, because it was a win at all costs.
But the game has moved on since then. Could they really adopt similar tactics?
But United need to have that mentality.
Would a referee be that lenient on Sunday?
Yeah. Why were we aggressive? Because it gets the crowd up. You know, what gets the crowd up? A shot, a goal, a tackle. And, you know, if the tackles are flying in, then the crowd will be up. It's as simple as that, and it'll be very difficult for City to get into that rhythm that we've seen so many times this season. If
you think about Barcelona, Real Madrid, when Jose was at Real Madrid, it was similar tactics that he used to do against Barcelona. He would play a little bit aggressive. There was sending offs, there was bookings, but he tried to upset the rhythm on and off the pitch of a Pep Guardiola team. And I think Sunday is a little bit like that, where he cannot let them come to Old Trafford and for 20 minutes keep possession of the ball, because I think Ryan said it before. It will kill the crowd, and it will probably win City the game.
A lot of focus on both managers on Sunday, both very, very different. But in fact, Pep Guardiola said today there are some similarities too.
Definitely. In that we are twins. They want to win. He want to win trophies. I want to win trophies. And I think, Antonio Conte as well, and Jurgen, and Mauricio. And all the leagues around the world, the managers are there. So it's not about, I never criticize my colleagues the way they play. I never did in the past, I will never do in the past. The football is magnificent for that, because every manager play in the way they play. There are different ways to enjoy football, to enjoy it. And that's, so it's simple like that.
He says he's very respectful of all managers and all styles of play, but do they quite simply only play one way, Manchester City?
Yeah, and Sunday won't change his style. You have to play a certain way. When the keeper gets the ball, he'll make the pitch as wide as possible. He will not have a thought in his mind, probably leading up to the game, about playing anything kind of defensive football. I would have thought he'll be preparing for, in terms of set pieces, because he knows United are a threat from set pieces, but he will be hoping to dominate possession for City.
Do you think they will carry on playing? Do you think they will try and play out for the back, knowing that, like we said, if there is tackles flying in or they make a mistake, if they nick it early, then it gets the crowd up?
I think it's the only way he knows how to play. I think, you know, if Ederson gets the ball and United go with Martial, Rashford or Lukaku, and they will look to press with Jesse Lingard, I think he'll say, we need to play football. You saw it with every team that he's played. I don't think he changes his style.
How good are Manchester City in terms of every other team you've seen in the Premier League? I mean, compare them to the Arsenal side that you stopped their run.
You can't really compare them at this stage, because you know, they've not won anything yet. But you've got to say, so far they've been outstanding. You know, both individually and as a unit. And like I said before, they're winning every type of way. You know, they're blowing teams away and they're scoring late goals. So when you've got that mix of ways of getting results, it's very difficult to stop. And they've probably got the outstanding player in De Bruyne so far this season, and the relationship that he's got with Silva as well. You know, we've seen last week, you know, the eye of a needle. And, you know, I've played with players where you are on the same wavelength, and it makes, not Phil, but it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference, but it makes a big difference because you don't even need to, it's just a look, and you know that De Bruyne is capable of producing that cross that he did for Silva last week.
Not just the position in the table, but, and has this been coming for a while, are they the superior team in Manchester right now?
Well, the top of the league, so
but
they are right
just
now.
Taking everything into account, the way they're playing, the club, their academy, all the facilities they have, the type of players that they can attract. Right now, if you were to say, going forward from this point, they look like they have the edge on Manchester United.
No, I wouldn't. You know, the academy, there's more United players coming through from the academy than there is at City. United won 2 trophies last year. City still haven't for a couple of years. So, they're very, very good, obviously, and the spending money that they've got, the spending power that they've got, every year they get closer. But still, United, with the record that they've got, and obviously they've got a top manager, they've got top players, I would say are still on top. But the gap is closing.
And did that shift begin after Sir Alex Ferguson left? Is it no coincidence? You've only got to look at the statistics since Sir Alex left.
It gave them hope. It gave them hope that once Sir Alex left, that was a massive thing. But they're a club that's building. I think they're still putting the building blocks in place.
But you look at those numbers there. Days at the top of the table, 260 compared to 50. These are big numbers, Phil.
Well, they are dominating at this moment in time, without a shadow of a doubt.
Over 100 goals more?
Yeah, they're dominating. They are the best team in the country at this moment in time, probably in Europe. They're playing the best football in terms of style. But I think you've got to measure success on definitely winning trophies. They have got a fantastic training ground, probably the best in the world. They've got an academy that they are trying to produce players, but not that many have got into the first team. Phil Foden is obviously someone that is going to be a first team player for Man City, but he's got to still become a regular. That is things that they continue to strive for, that United have got. But I've got to say, I've not seen better football from what I've seen from Man City for a number of years from a Premier League team. Are they as good as the Invincibles of Arsenal? I don't think so yet, because they've not won a trophy, and it's winning trophies that will define this team.
Have you been surprised at the speed of Manchester City's rise? I remember Sir Alex saying, not in 1,000 years will they be equal with Manchester United. It looks like they're slightly ahead of that.
No, I mean, like I say, with the spending power that they've got and the coach that they've got now, it's going to be very hard to stop them over the next couple of years, because, like Phil said, they're playing unbelievable football. And the players that they've got, they're playing at their peak. Pretty young squad, so they've got a lot going for them. But like Phil said, it's about winning trophies, and until you win that trophy, then you can't start comparing to the Invincibles or other clubs that have won the Premier League.
It is a special game, this. There is derby fever all around the place, and Jose Mourinho was asked today whether or not he'd had a touch of it.
I live a little bit isolated from society. I don't feel it so much, It's about training ground and hotel and my day off after CSK. I went home, so I really don't have that communication, but I don't need that. I don't need that to know that a derby is something special for the people. For us, in the end, it's 3 points. But honestly, I think for the people born in the city and feeling the colours in that good, positive rivalry, I think is a special match.
He's really got the buzz, hasn't he?
He's right, though, in terms of, you look at the two sets of teams that are going out on Sunday. There's probably only Rashford and Lingard, who are the homegrown players, that will actually feel the buzz of being Manchester people, knowing what it's like to be a Manchester United fan in a Manchester area. For the rest, you are cocooned. You are in the training ground. You're at home. You don't walk the streets of Manchester. I walked the streets of Manchester today, and every shop attendant wanted to talk about the derby on Sunday. The players won't have that. But if you're a homegrown player, you'll have it, and there's only going to be 2 on the pitch, so they'll feel it more than anybody else.
It's funny, though, because Pep was asked the same question today. He said, I love Manchester. There's the theatre, there's the cinema, there's the cafes, the restaurants. It's so vibrant, concerts, you name it, it's all here. And it was the polar opposite of Jose Mourinho's answer.
Jose's trying to play it down. He's trying to play the game.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he's trying to play the game down, because it has been an unbelievable build-up to the game, and he wants to keep his players focused, and that's what you've got to do as a manager. Where I think Pep is in a, speaking from a place of power, really, because he's what, 8 points clear at the top of the league. He can afford to come to Old Trafford. He won't want to lose, but his team can afford to relax a little bit. Where for Jose, his team have to win, so he has to play it down and make sure his team are focused.
Right, how's he going to do it tactically? How's this going to play out?
Well, I mean, losing Pogba's a big blow, because I would have definitely said that they would have played like they did against Arsenal. got men behind the ball, and then I've got that threat of that counter-attack. You know, Jesse, Rashford or Martial, Lukaku and Pogba powering forward. Last week was brilliant watching United. Yeah. On the counter-attack, it was like going back to Arsenal, you know, 10 years ago when we were breaking with Cristiano, with Wayne, with Tevez, with Nani. It was brilliant, but losing Pogba is a big blow.
Do you not buy the theory, perhaps it almost plays into Jose's hands, something like Herrera could go and sit on Kevin De Bruyne?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be Herrera or Fellaini?
I think it'll be Herrera. You know, I've said a couple of times about the Chelsea game last year, and you know, if he's up against Silva and Matic against De Bruyne, I can definitely see that, but I don't know. I mean, you know, we've talked about getting the atmosphere going, and if they do sit back like they did against Arsenal, play like an away game, you know, the crowd could be subdued. So does he go onto the front foot? Does he try and force a mistake? Because probably the weakest part of City's team are the defence. And like Phil said, he doesn't change. He'll want to play out. So let Otamendi have the ball, let Kompany have the ball, and then press from the shape. And try and disrupt that rhythm, because otherwise De Silva, De Bruyne are going to get in them little pockets and they're going to dictate the game. I
think the biggest selection for Jose, apart from who replaces Pogba, is whether he goes three at the back. Yeah. Because City will have three up front. They'll have two wide, Sterling and Sane, more often than not. They'll have Aguero, Jesus up front. So does he go with three central defenders and Valencia and Young? That's 5v3, so he's going to get outnumbered in midfield. So does he gamble and play four at the back, or change his system? Not gamble, change his system, and maybe bring in a Luke Shaw, who played in midweek, who is playing in a conventional back four, played well in midweek. I think that's the biggest conundrum for Jose, is whether to go with a back five or a back four. Just taking Ryan's point about the crowd, though, do you think it will frustrate the crowd, the fact that Manchester City are going to dominate possession? Yeah. So could you almost lose the crowd in terms of support if you allow Manchester City to have that possession? Well, that's where Lukaku is key, because you know that as soon as City lose the ball, they're onto you. They're that high up that they're onto you. They're pressing Aguero, Sane, Sterling, even De Bruyne and Silva. They're pressing you. Once you beat that press, then you've got a chance. And that's why it's key, whether you're going to play through the press or you're going to go long to Lukaku. If Lukaku holds it up and it's attack after attack every time they lose the ball, the crowd will be up. But it's very important that he plays like he did at the Emirates last week, because when he did hold it up, United looked dangerous. If he plays like he did against Chelsea or Liverpool, where he kept losing the ball, and City's just going to come back, and then the crowd maybe will start getting on United's back. Is it too narrow a narrative to say that Manchester United sit back and hit on the counter, and Manchester City just sweep forward in waves? Or are there more subtle nuances than that to both teams? Is there more phases of play for both, or is it that simple? No, it's simple. I think there'll be a couple of things. When City have it in their goalkeeper's hand, when Ederson has the ball, the question will be, will he stop them playing out from the back and force them to kick it long? I think that is a ploy with the likes of Rashford, Martial and Lukaku. He can afford to do Jesse Lingard. He can afford to go absolutely full court press, stop them playing out from the back, because that's where they start. Then once they've played out, I think they've got to retreat back into shape. I think it's the only way, and Lukaku for me will probably determine whether Man United win or lose on the day, because like Ryan said, if you get Lukaku from Liverpool away that got probably bullied by Lovren and Matip a little bit, that didn't hold the ball, then United will struggle. But if he is like the one that was playing against Arsenal last week, that got hold of the ball and brought players into it, United can win this game, and I think Lukaku is the key. Does it matter the style of a victory for Manchester United? Does that exist? I mean, you two were part of it. The fact that, you know, the Fergie style, flying wingers, attacking, entertaining football, does that no longer matter? It matters, yeah. I don't think it matters Sunday. I think it's just all about the result Sunday. No matter how they win, if they win, you know, from a set piece, which could happen. But yeah, during the season, you know, the crowd want to be entertained, and for large parts, I think they have this year. I think the criticism comes with the Liverpool game, where you know, we were really poor. But other than that, scored lots of goals, 4 or 5 times scored, won by 4-goal margin. But Sunday, it doesn't matter. Sunday is just all about the result. Obviously, listen, you never know what's going to happen in a game. No. But if
United do set up in, shall we say, allowing City onto them, and then City then score first, how much does that then have to change United's game plan? How flexible does Chelsea have to be within the 90 minutes so he can react? Because if you go out into a game where your tactics, your mindset is one thing, but obviously the goals change the games, how quickly could they adapt? Or, the other way, if they get a goal, continue on the front foot?
Well, he's got players that he can adapt. He's got players on the bench. You know, you think of Rashford and Martial, will they both play? You can bring one of them on, you can bring Mata on to change a game or to change the direction of a game. If it's 1-0 after 60 minutes, 70 minutes, I don't think Jose will panic and open up, because I think there's still an opportunity for United to get back into the game, because, you know, a set piece, a wide free kick or whatever, United have got the quality to get back in the game. So it's about not panicking. He won't want to go a goal down, 100%. It's particularly in the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, I think, are key on Sunday. I think United will have to put a marker down in the first 20 minutes in terms of their ability to keep the crowd on their side and to make it a 12th man. So I just think United have got the flexibility, but they've got to make sure that they don't switch off for 1 minute because of Silva, because of De Bruyne, two of the best players in the league at this moment in time. They can kill you with any pass at any time.
Are you convinced that Silva's going to play?
No. Well,
because you think it's double bluff, don't you?
Early in the week, he was ruled out, and then Jose said something in his press conference before CSK game, and I just wonder whether Pep's playing double bluff, because if you was a manager, you'd probably be preparing to play against Silva and De Bruyne, and I think that's why probably Ryan said Herrera, because Herrera against Silva is probably a good match. I just wonder whether he's double bluffing now and thinking, well, Jose might prepare against Silva, and I'm probably play someone else if he is injured.
Who would be a bigger miss?
It's a big call.
I'm confused now.
Yeah.
Bigger miss, Silva or Pogba, if Silva didn't play?
Silva is a big miss, because he's been fantastic this
season. Bigger than Pogba for United?
Yeah, because City are the away team. And, you know, I keep banging on about it being at Old Trafford, but it is huge. Whereas Herrera, like he did last year at Chelsea, he can come in and do an OK job. Where you miss Pogba, obviously, is his pace and his power. And I was here Tuesday, he didn't have a good game, but then he produced that little bit of magic to create that first goal for Lukaku. But no, the relationship that David Silva and De Bruyne have is special, and they're very hard to stop two of them. If one of them's missing, it becomes a much easier task.
I saw you shaking your head then. You think Pogba's a bigger miss, don't you?
Because something Ryan said about that minute, about that ability to create something special. You think about the third goal at Arsenal last week when he went past Koscielny and he squared it to Lingard, but it was a 60-yard run that he made. I think in a game like Sunday, United just might need that little bit of quality, because I think they will be defending for large parts of the game, but that ability to go from box to the opposition box in 4 or 5 seconds, Pogba's got, and I see someone with that character in a big game that can just win a game on his own, and Pogba's done that this year.
And the stats aren't good, are they, when Pogba's missing?
No.
You know, especially in the big games. Usually if he plays, United win.
Won 7 out of 8, I think, with Pogba in the team this year. So you think of Chelsea, you think of Liverpool, they missed him in those games. So Silva's great, but I think United might just need Pogba on Sunday.
How much of what you're saying is faith, optimism, confidence? Where's it lie? Are these your heads or hearts talking?
No, it's my head. United's home record is fantastic, and like I say, it's a club where, you know, we do break records. You know, we do break runs, and we're capable of doing it. Listen, it's not going to be easy. City are a fantastic team. And
their away record is equal to it.
Their away record is great, but no, I just think that I just can't see us going 11 points behind. I just can't see it.
Or just don't want to see it.
Don't want to see it, no. Definitely don't want to see it.
I'm a little bit concerned, because I've seen City a lot this season, but what gives me hope as a United supporter is the fact how they didn't struggle, but the way that they played last week. I think yes, they've got character to win games, but it just may be a little bit of a weakness on set pieces, weakness in terms of teams finding a way of nullifying Silva and De Bruyne last week. And United's home record, 40 games unbeaten at home. City are going to have to play so well to win at Old Trafford on Sunday.
OK, that's the end of this propaganda section. We'll be talking about the Merseyside derby after the break, and by the sound of things, the Big Sam bounce effect has already started.
I was giving you... That's a fine. How's that? How much is that?
£10.
£10, okay. Does it go to the community?
Yeah.
It used to be 25, Crystal Palace. Perhaps that's because it was London, was it?
People would say it will be difficult for Everton. It will be difficult for us as well.
Liverpool's a different kettle of fish.
All Sam Allardyce teams are difficult to play.
What possession we do, how well are we going to maximise it?
It's our home ground and everybody needs to see that.
What we don't want to do is we don't want to play into Liverpool's hands.
They can win all the games over the season apart from the games against us.
We need to be very clinical in our finishing when it comes along, I think, and that can hopefully give us a good performance and at the end of that a result.
People would say it will be difficult for Everton. It will be difficult for us as well.
Liverpool's a different kettle of fish.
All Sam Allardyce teams are difficult to play.
What possession we do, how well are we going to maximise it?
It's our home ground and everybody needs to see that.
What we don't want to do is we don't want to play into Liverpool's hands.
They can win all the games over the season apart from the games against us.
We need to be very clinical in our finishing when it comes along, I think, and that can hopefully give us a good performance and at the end of that a result.
Phil spent 8 years at Everton. How does the Merseyside derby compare with the Manchester derby?
Well, I'd say the atmosphere is better. 100% it's more intense. The rivalry is obviously closer. I left United when City probably weren't taking off, so the games against Liverpool were always bigger for Manchester United at that time. But I went to Everton and they blew me away really in terms of the rivalry, and the build-up starts probably 2 weeks before it from the people on the street, and you do get people outside the training ground remind you every single day how long it is before the derby. When the fixtures are out, it's the derby fixture that everybody looks for, and it is one of probably my biggest disappointments that I never played in an Everton team that won at Anfield, and not never played in one, but we never did ourselves justice. I think Everton for the last probably 15-20 years have had probably gone to Anfield in the wrong frame of mind. I think we've had too much fear going there. We've tried too hard at times. We've had the wrong tactics at times, and we've not done ourselves justice. And this Sunday, on paper, you think Liverpool, there's only going to be one win, and that's Liverpool because of the form that they're in. But I think things changed when Sam was named as manager.
Is it the fact that it is a derby that gives Everton fans hope, Brian? Because it's when form goes right out the window, or, as Phil says, they've just not done themselves justice at Anfield. So,
no, I think what gives an Everton supporter hope at the moment is a new manager coming in, and especially Sam Allardyce, who will go to Anfield with a good defensive organisation, will make sure that they're well drilled, make it difficult for Liverpool, frustrate them. And it's interesting what he says there about, you know, when they're in possession, they have to look after the ball, because you can't just defend at Anfield for 90 minutes. You have to create chances, and that's where probably Everton have let themselves down over the past few years, because they've not got a great record there. But if I was an Everton supporter, I'd be happy that a new manager has just come in, and hopefully that will give them the edge to get that result, you know, that they haven't had for a long, long time.
Is all the pressure on Liverpool?
Yes, because they're the home team, but I think
because of the record. Because
of the record, but I think what Evertonians are looking at now, they're looking at the manager. Was Sam Allardyce the #1 choice? Probably not. But I think if there was one result that you could endear yourself to the Everton fans, it would be this one. And I think Sam goes there. He was the last manager to win at Anfield for Crystal Palace. So he has a game plan. He has confidence. He knows he can set up a team to play there. I think he will play deep. We've talked about Man United playing deep, but I think Everton will play deep. They have to against Salah, against Firmino and against Mane. They've got blistering pace on the counter-attack. But it's just how Everton can score, and that's the biggest conundrum for Sam.
When you see Liverpool at their best, which we've a couple of times this season, in fact, Sam said today he believes that right now Liverpool are playing their best football they have since Jurgen Klopp's arrival. Do they compare with their firepower to Manchester City?
Probably not as good, but they're up there, definitely. And you know, Coutinho's starting to find form now. Lallana's coming back. They've got, and especially when they lose the ball, you know, that press that Klopp always has with his teams. They're very aggressive when they lose the ball. But yeah, I think Salah surprised everyone with the quality and the goals that he scored this year. He's been magnificent. Where, you know, he had a point to prove, obviously, after what happened at Chelsea, but he's been magnificent. So they're up. They're not as good as City, but they're up there.
I mean, Jurgen Klopp said today, we spent all day with them live in Liverpool today, or Liverpool Live, rather. He said, we're not up there with Manchester City right now, but we're getting close.
Attacking wise, they are. It's just defensively. Goalkeeper in the back four haven't been convincing. But I think Jurgen Klopp's made or learnt a valuable lesson from last year when he played the same team. Liverpool up until December, January last year were fantastic, and then they hit a brick wall in January. I think they won 1 out of 9 in January because he suffered injuries. I think he underestimated December as a month, 11, 12 games over the Christmas period. He's rotated his team in the last 10 days really well. He's rested Mane, he's rested Salah, Firmino, he's rested his important players, and they're all fit. You know, I think he stuck up for Jordan Henderson today in the press conference because he's been rested. He's got everybody fit, everybody fresh, and that is the worry for Everton now, is that they've got everybody coming back from injuries, Liverpool, and they're fresh because he's rotated his team really well.
It's quite interesting listening to Jurgen Klopp. He really was not at all impressed with us in the media for highlighting the fact he dropped Jordan Henderson. He said, we won 7-0 and you focus on the fact the captain didn't play. He said, if I play him every game, he will get injured. So I left him out of the team for that reason. And he said, Germany, anywhere else in the world, it's not a story remotely for the captain not to play. Only here in England.
Yeah, he's right. The English press are rubbish, aren't they?
I didn't say press.
Some are, yeah.
I said media. So
no, I mean, like Phil said, he's learned a valuable lesson. They had a lot of injuries last year and a lot in training. So obviously the players are now getting used to the way that Klopp trains, the intensity that he wants them to train and play, and rotating the team because he has got that quality, that strength in depth.
It's a far more convincing squad, isn't it, as opposed to just a starting 11 as well?
Yeah, it is, but you know, I can't see them competing for the league until you know you have a top goalkeeper. You know, not many teams win the Premier League without a top goalkeeper, and you know, 2 top centre halves. But the rest of the team is fantastic.
I mean, they're 4th at the moment. They're certainly not a million miles away. But do they need to consolidate? Really, they've got to be to get to the next stage. They've got to consolidate by being a Champions League team every single year, which it's not as easy, it's not a given, perhaps it once was, for certain clubs. You could pretty much predict who the top 4 were going to be, couldn't you? Now, you've got 6, 7 teams in the mix.
They're playing for 4th position, I think. You know, I don't see much movement in that top 3. You know, Man City or Man United, Chelsea in 3rd. I think them 3 are fixed in terms of they're going to finish in the top 3. So basically, Liverpool are looking to finish in 4th. And it is about consistency now for Jurgen Klopp, about finishing in the Champions League. The more times they finish in the Champions League, the more money they'll be able to invest in their defenders, in their team, in their squad. And I think that's what he'll be looking for. I don't think they're going to win the league, Liverpool. But what I do see, I see a massive improvement in what I saw last year, this year. I see a bigger squad, I see the rotation, better quality on the bench, and I see a manager that's learned probably more about the Premier League than any other manager in the league in terms of how to manage the season better.
What do you both make of your former teammate Wayne Rooney's move to Everton and also his recent resurgence, having seemed like the whole team lost his way a little, left out on a couple of occasions, back, hat-trick, another wonder goal, and playing deeper in midfield?
No, but first of all, I was pleased that he went to Everton. You know, I didn't want to see him go abroad. You know, he's gone back to the club which he loves, which he started at, obviously. And no, Wayne's a goal scorer. He'll always score goals. He'll always get them chances because you don't lose that. I probably hit that sort of dynamic when I was 29, 30, just losing that pace, and I had to change the way that I played, and it's not easy. You know, it took a year or so to find out what sort of player I was now, and it might have took Wayne that amount of time. What am I? I'm a centre forward. Am I a number 10? Can I even drop deeper? And he's got the ability to definitely play deeper because, like I say, he will score goals even from that position, but he's also got that fantastic passing range.
What do you think he is now, both of you?
I think he's got to play deep. I really do. I think because...
How deep are we talking? Getting it off the back 4?
Probably in a midfield position. Because Everton didn't sign a centre forward, Koeman had to play him up front. Then David Unsworth had to play him as a number 10 or up front. I don't think that suits him nowadays. I think as you probably get a little bit older, you want more time on the ball, and you probably want a face to play rather than have your back to play. And I think now I've seen him in the last 2 games, and it's been crying out for a number of weeks. I think Everton needs someone who can put the foot on the ball and can play the pass, and he can do that. And towards the end of his time at United, he did come a little bit deeper. I think he's got to play in central midfield next to a guy, next to a Schneiderlin, where he'll be able to dictate play a lot more.
And there's a number of players at Everton who can play the 10 role as well, isn't there?
Too many.
Yeah, there's too many. Yeah, you're right. They haven't got the mix right. But I think it's important that Wayne, with that quality, has legs around him. You know, if he's got pace. I remember going watching Monaco City last year, and Falcao, the legs he had around him were, you know, Mbappe, Lamar. He had so much power and pace around him, but Falcao just goal-anged really and just waited for the chances to come, and he put them away. If Wayne could play up front if he had legs around him, but yeah, I agree with Phil, he'll just get deeper and deeper because he has got that quality of passing.
And if they find...
And he scores from the halfway line.
And if Sam finds the right role and the right ingredients around him, with his experience, his personality and his love for the club, could he be a really key figure in this new Everton, with this new financial muscle, at some point down the line, a new stadium? We don't know whether or not he'll be around.
He's
then.
only 32.
Yeah.
He's not 35, 36 where he's finished. He's probably got another 3-4 years left at the top level. So Sam will have to look after him. He will have to play him in a position where he has got legs around him at times, but he's the top scorer for Everton. And goal scoring is a large part of his game, and the ability to ghost into the box like his goal against West Ham, he'll never lose that. But he will have to be protected, and he'll have to get the right people around him. I think Sam has probably got a massive January transfer window. He has to bring in a centre forward to Everton, and I think if they do, Everton can probably start looking at finishing the top 6.
OK, one more break and then we'll be taking your questions. If you haven't got your questions in so far, please do. You can tweet us at Sky Sports PL, #the debate, and don't hold back. Give it to these two. We want to hear from you.
They defend well. They react well to the moment they lose the ball. They have good dynamic in attack. They have creative movements. They have amazing players. They have a fantastic coach. They have lots of good things. If you ask me one thing that I don't like a lot, is that they lose the balance very easily.
Okay, can we move on?
Sorry, please, Matt.
You know, a little bit of wind and they fall.
Preston.
Well, that'd be something of a concern, because high winds are forecast for the weekend. What's he saying?
I think he's putting a bit of pressure on the referee there. You know, like we've said, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to get in City's faces, and if they go down too easily, that's that little message to the referee.
Well, they did last week. I mean, Delph went over last week. It is a message to the referee. I think United have to be aggressive, and he's just left one on there. The City players. And obviously the referee, that is a message to the referee. Just don't make sure that you don't, because he won't want any of his players, you know, getting yellow cards, red cards, putting his team under pressure, because if they go down to 10 men, it makes it even more difficult.
Will that really have an effect on the way the referee thinks, though?
He'll be looking out for it, surely. Yeah, I think it does. I think it's something that Sir Alex did sometimes in his press conferences. You know,
sometimes,
every week, a little coded message to the referee, a little coded message to everyone about looking out for the Man City players going down easily. I don't think they do, to be fair. If you look at Silva never goes down. De Bruyne doesn't seem to go down. So it's something aimed at the referee.
OK, now you both have been part of the coaching staff here at Old Trafford. We asked you to pick your combined 11 for the two. Ryan, you go first. Was it a fairly straightforward choice for you?
Not straightforward. You know, I've put I put Rashford in front of Sterling. Sterling's had a fantastic season, so he could have quite easily gone in there. Also Lukaku with his goal-scoring record, quite easily. But I think the rest, more or less, you know, they're all the players in form at the moment. I mean,
Sterling, was it close?
No, I have to get a local lad in there, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, nice and unbiased. Phil, you've left out David Silva.
Well, when I picked that, I don't think he'll play. That's my gut feeling. You know, that yesterday when I was asked to name a combined 11, I wasn't sure he was going to play. Probably the big surprise is now is Ashley Young at left back. Who would have thought Ashley Young would be left back in a combined match? But he's playing that well. I don't think.
Could that be Luke Shaw?
Look, in maybe a year's time, yes, but I don't think I've seen Ashley Young play as good as he has at the moment. Have you?
No, and he'll be key. Because I was here, like I said, on Tuesday, and the set pieces, the delivery was poor. So I look at United's team, it would probably be Ash, maybe Jesse, taking the corners, and that's really important. The set pieces are good enough to create chances.
You also said that Lukaku would be key in this game on Sunday, but you didn't pick him.
No, because Aguero's record in derbies is fantastic. So
do you think he'll play instead of Jesus?
Yeah. Because of that reason. No, I mean, he's a fantastic player, but also his goal-scoring record is, I think there's only Wayne who scored more in derbies, so yeah, I couldn't have left Aguero out. OK, let's go to our viewers' questions, starting off with, because Manchester City in recent years have been more competitive to United than Liverpool, is this derby now bigger? And if not, will it ever be? Is this bigger than United playing Liverpool?
Sunday's game feels the biggest Manchester derby that I've ever witnessed. Probably bigger at this moment in time than the Liverpool games, yes. But I think the history between Liverpool and Manchester United, I think there's more hatred between Liverpool and Manchester United. Whenever I was playing for Manchester United, it was Liverpool. It always seemed bigger to me. It's changed now because of obviously City's rise. But this game Sunday, I think it's the biggest Manchester derby that I've ever witnessed in my lifetime.
Well, your lifetime is obviously a lot longer than Phil's.
Thanks, Geoff.
I mean, it's quite some statement. Would you go along with it? Biggest you've been in? Well,
it's different for me and Phil because, you know, we grew up watching Liverpool win everything and, you know, we had to claw that gap back regarding the titles. But, yeah, each year you've got to say that City, Man United is getting bigger and bigger. And, yeah, it'll be up there soon with the Liverpools. But if Liverpool win titles, then, you know, it's very difficult to stop Liverpool when they do start winning titles.
OK, the next question is for you, Ryan. Are you interested in the Wales job?
Oh, good question. Is that mine or Phil's? No, of course I'm interested. You know, I played for Wales, you know, and I've said that I want to go back into coaching, and obviously that is one of the top jobs. You know, I played for United, played for Wales. They're the two jobs that, you know, it's similar to Phil. I'm sure it'd be like England, Man United, Everton, but no, I've not spoke to anyone at the moment. But yeah, I would definitely be interested.
Would you be available to take a call if they haven't made up their minds?
Yes.
You don't take my calls.
All right, OK, you've made that clear then. What was the best derby match you played in and why?
I made my debut in the derby, so my best memory, my best game was in the derby that I made my debut. We went to Main Road and we won the game 3-0. It was the first time I'd played a league game for Manchester United. I thought I was only going to go there to help the kit man, pick the kits up after the game for experience. I'd played for the youth team 2 days before, and Sir Alex, we got to.
You thought you were as well.
we got to Main Road and he named me in the team, and it felt like the best day of my life, and to win at obviously Man City, the team I grew up hating, was a wonderful feeling.
Yours?
The 4-3 probably at Old Trafford, but also the 3-2 where Roy at Main Road, where Roy scored the winning goal. So I picked 2.
The 4-3, didn't you lay on the winner?
Thanks,
Michael
Geoff.
Owen?
Yeah, I did, yeah. And 2 for Fletch.
And to balance it, your worst derby day experiences.
My brothers, Sean Golter game. Remember that one? The last ever game at Main Road. Gary was at fault for 2 goals. I was at fault for 1 goal. It
did well as a family that day.
It wasn't. My dad didn't speak to us for about 3 months after that game. No, that was a dark day. That was a dark day for the family.
Mine's probably when Vincent Kompany scored from the corner and they went on to win the league.
Did you play in the 6-1 game?
No.
No.
Nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with me. They were rubbish.
OK. Have Manchester United become too reliant on Pogba because of the way Mourinho sets up his team?
No, I don't think so. I think Pogba is obviously a key part. You know, we've said about the stats when he plays. Usually United win, but no, I think there's more pressure on Lukaku. That's the main position. So no, I wouldn't say.
This is a recurring theme, because the very next question that we've had in is, will Lukaku deliver when it matters most? Do you think that debate, that question mark, still hangs over him?
Yeah, and I think everyone, well, we all said that at the start of the season, Lukaku will score goals. You know, he's that talented player and that stronger player, and the chances that he'll get playing in the United team, he's going to score goals, but he'll be judged on the big games. And
is that fair though, Ryan? Because if you think you praised his efforts against Arsenal the other week. Now, he didn't score, but he contributed a huge amount to the team. So does it matter that he doesn't score in those games?
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he has to score in them games. You're right. He was very important last week at the Emirates. But he has to play well in the big games. And if he plays well, usually he'll score. He
has to perform. I think when you go to Anfield, and Jose got criticism for that game, but I thought his forwards let him down. He played Martial, he played Mkhitaryan and Lukaku up front, and they didn't do anything for him on that game. And it was a counter-attack game against the Liverpool defence at that time. You thought you could get at. He went missing. He went missing at Stamford Bridge. But against Arsenal last week, I thought we saw the centre forward that you think, right, he can win your games even without scoring. He's got to produce a performance on Sunday for United to win.
And how timely that goal in midweek in the Champions League, and we saw the greeting that the manager gave him when he came off the pitch as well.
Oh, that was huge. Yeah. Goal scorers want to score goals. You know, they feel so much different when they are scoring goals, and you could feel the sort of the atmosphere. You know, there was a little bit of unrest when Lukaku kept losing the ball, but you know, to balance that out when he scored, you know, Lukaku was the most happiest person in the stadium. But you could feel the sort of relief around the place that Lukaku did score, and he's back on track now. OK,
both of you, choose one player from City you'd want at United.
David Silva for me. I think he's...
You didn't pick him?
No, because I think he was injured, but he's one of my favourite players in the Premier League. I mean, I think he's the one that makes City tick. I think he never looks like he's flustered or never gets tackled because he takes up so many positions. I just think he's a fabulous footballer.
De Bruyne.
Why De Bruyne over Silva?
Just more goals and more assists.
And who do you think City fans would want from United in their team? Who would you take out?
The goalkeeper.
Yeah.
David De Gea, probably. You know, City have had problems in goal the last 3 or 4 seasons, so you'd probably say the one world-class player that you could guarantee on that pitch on Sunday is David De Gea.
OK, do Everton have a chance on Sunday?
Slim chance, but I think since Sam's come in, the mood has turned around, and eventually Everton will win at Anfield. You just hope, from an ex-Everton player, that it's this Sunday. The feel-good factor seems to be coming back. A lot of negativity. They're up in the top half of the table, and they're going into the game in a better shape than they were 2 weeks ago, when I thought they were in real danger of being relegated.
Can you sum up Sunday? Not in terms of, you know, the title's not going to be won or lost on Sunday, but more than 3 points. What is up for grabs for either side?
Just momentum, really, and belief. You know, if United beat City, that belief and that confidence that it gives you, that you've stopped them from breaking records, you've won a big game. You know, the games can't come quick enough then, and just that momentum that you know that you can win the league, you know that you're that much closer to catching them, and the other way, if United lose, then it's huge, and it's a huge boost for City. Smashing stuff, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for your contribution.
Thank you.
And also lending us a room in your hotel. Very kind of you. At very reasonable rates as well, I hope. Let's have a look what we've got coming up this weekend, and it is Derby Day football all the way on Sky. Starting on Saturday, West Ham host Chelsea. It doesn't get any easier for Dave and his boys right now. Then, as we've said, it's Liverpool against Everton, followed by Manchester United versus Manchester City. Thank you for your company. Thank you for your company as well. We've enjoyed it. Hope you have too. We'll see you next time.